friends. Today we are going to learn about police officers. They are another very important community helper that helps keep us safe. Firemen and police officers help to keep us safe. There are a lot of different community helpers who do very important things, but we're starting off with some of those who help to keep us safe because safety is one of the most important things. So let's see how a police officer helps to keep us safe. Lewis is a police officer. He wears a crisp uniform with a belt to carry his equipment, a hat, and a badge. It is Officer Lewis's job to protect people in the community. Officer Lewis has an early shift today. He arrives at the police station right on time. The sergeant is briefing the team for the day. "Good morning, Sergeant," calls Officer Lewis. "Hello, Lewis," says the sergeant. Then he gives everyone a job for the day. Some officers go out on horseback to patrol the streets. Some go to a crime scene. But Officer Lewis and Officer Thea are going to the local festival. They go to their police car and check to make sure everything is working. Wee-oo, wee-oo. Officer Thea tests the special flashing lights and the siren that makes a loud noise. Officer Thea drives through the busy streets on the way to the festival. Officer Lewis keeps an eye on the traffic to make sure everyone is driving safely. The festival is busy. People are out in the sun eating, playing games, and enjoying themselves. Officer Lewis and Officer Thea patrol the grounds. They give a family directions, help someone whose car is stuck in the mud, and ask a stall worker to keep the path clear. So they make sure that people don't get lost. They help people who are stuck, and they help to make sure that people are following the rules and making things safe for the visitors. Suddenly, Officer Lewis feels a tug on his arm. It is a little boy. Look. Aww. How does it look like he's feeling? Think of the zone, or you can think of a word to use. His face looks kind of sad, but I think we can tell from this picture that he's lost, which means he's probably scared and in the yellow zone. I would feel very nervous and anxious and just my body would be more awake and alert, like the yellow zone, than it is low and sad in the blue zone if I was lost. "I've lost my mom and dad," the boy cries. "Oh dear," says Officer Lewis. "What is your name?" "Alex," whispers the little boy. "Don't worry, Alex. We'll find them," says Officer Lewis. Do you think he did the right thing by finding a police officer? I think so. He must have talked about community helpers in school or with his mom and dad to know that he can trust a police officer if he gets lost. Officer Lewis asks Alex where he saw his parents last and what they look like. Then Officer Lewis has an idea. "Do you have their phone number?" he asks. Alex looks in his bag. "Here," he says. "Dad wrote it down in case of an emergency." Smart dad, says Officer Lewis. He tries calling, but there is no signal. That is a really great idea. I like how Lewis had his phone number written down in his bag. For your homework, I want you to work on remembering a phone number so that you can say it if a police officer asked you. But until you know one, having it written somewhere in your bag or your pocket is a really good idea. We'll never find them, Alex says. He starts to cry. He wants his mom and dad. Don't worry, Alex. Let's try the meeting point, says Officer Thea. We'll find them. As they get close, Alex thinks he can see his parents. Mom! Dad! Alex cries, breaking into a run. There you are, says Alex's dad. He came and asked for our help, explained Officer Lewis. Well done, Alex, says his mom. Thank you for helping me, Alex says. No problem, just doing our job, says Officer Lewis. Enjoy the festival, says Officer Thea. Officer Lewis and Officer Thea decide to get ice cream. It's your turn to buy them, says Officer Thea with a grin. Fair enough, says Officer Lewis, but I get to drive home. Does it seem like they are friends? I think so. They work in the same car together. They spend a lot of time together, so I bet you become really good friends. What else does Officer Lewis do? Cool, we get to see more things that the police officers do sometimes. They direct traffic, so they tell the cars which way to go or when to stop. They help investigate crimes, figure out what happened when something goes wrong or who did something that was against the law. They teach children about safety. They arrest criminals. And what does Officer Lewis need? Cool, we get to see some of his gear today. He needs a hat, a uniform, a notebook, a radio, handcuffs, and sturdy shoes. Why do you think Officer Lewis and our police officers need a uniform? I think it's probably really important that they all look like police officers so that we know where to go for help, right? If a police officer was wearing what I'm wearing, would you know to trust him or that he could help you? No, he would just look like a normal guy. So their uniform is important to just show that they're a police officer. And they have other gear on their uniform too. Some officers wear vests that are very thick and protective. And there we go. Here are some of the other busy people police officers work with. Police sergeants run the police station. They manage the police officers and coordinate teams on investigations. Have you ever heard the word sergeant? So it sounds like they are in charge. Forensic scientists examine evidence from crime scenes, including photographs, fingerprints, and samples. Wow, that seems like a cool job. Police dog handlers use highly trained dogs to help them find evidence at a crime scene. And family liaison officers work with families affected by crimes or accidents, and the officer supports the family and tells them what's happening. The end. Have a good day, friends.